Hey, welcome back, friends. If you want to join the friends, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. So I just wanted to do a little bit of an update video on my machines guide. Basically, the machines guide that I had before is absolutely horrible now. If you didn't already know from prices of the mahogany planks as well as the mahogany logs, it used to be about 12 mil per week for two high capacity plank makers, and now it went down to about 3 mil per week. So a very substantial decrease in the amount of money that you can actually make from making planks. It's kind of unfortunate, but it means I had to convert my entire machine shop here. I did have a couple of options while I was doing this, but I decided to just go full out for auto disassembler tier 2s, the Mark 2s. The reason why I'm doing that is because they disassemble about 30 minutes worth of disassembling a week. Or sorry, a day. It's 30 minutes a day per a piece, and that means that you can have 4 because they only use up 40 power a piece. So you can actually have 2 hours worth of disassembling every single day just for about 500k worth of divine charges. Very, very good. Obviously, if you can make more than 250k per hour disassembling things, this is definitely worth doing. I'm going to show you, or actually just tell you, the amount of profit I'm going to be making a day at the end, but it is absolutely insane. That's assuming that I don't just put it in the title. First things first is I actually make a combination of augmenters as well as the equipment siphons, and that is because of these rings of slaying right here. If you go ahead and check out to see what they give you precise and enhancing components. The precise are used in the equipment siphons, and the enhancing are used in the augmenters, which, as of the update of these machines, are now tradable. So make sure you're making those for a little bit of profit. So I am disassembling these along with a lot of other items. I'll have a couple of items here. These are all for powerful components. I do have a couple of items here for base components, and of course I have the U shortbows, which is a standard for any time that you're making equipment siphons. If you don't already know exactly how to do it, then go ahead and check out my guide in the description down below. It's about 3.3 mil per hour. I do want to mention that about half an hour of that does not include disassembling, so you are spending half an hour a day on actually putting effort into making money, and then the other hour of that guide is actually done with these auto disassemblers here. So very, very good. I'm making about 5 mil a day just from having 2 of these auto disassemblers running. Again, just go ahead and check out the guide. It explains everything exactly how it works. You basically are just getting powerful components, disassembling the rings of Slayer, and then getting all the other components that you need to make equipment siphons as well as the augmenters. So 2 of these machines are constantly doing that. What are the other 2 machines doing? I have been testing out a couple of things as of right now. As you can see from the base parts, I actually have some iron scimitars here. If you check out the amount of components that I am getting subtle components. I'm actually getting really close to 500 subtle components. That was my goal when I first started. And once I make 500 subtle components, I plan on actually getting, I think it's 10,000 tight springs. It's going to be absolutely insane. I was disassembling things for base parts anyway, so I figured I would go for some tight springs while I was going. I'll be making a video on that in the future, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can see that probably next week or so. Depends on when I finish up the 500 subtle components. But it's going to be saving me quite a bit of money, and tight springs are especially useful. And seeing as how I'm disassembling things for base parts anyway, it's a little bit inefficient to use scimitars, but it's not too bad. As you can see, I also have a pretty good amount of enhancing components sitting here. I'm planning on doing 1,000 augmenters all in one go as well. It's a little bit inefficient to do that way, but I think it would be a good video. So basically, that's one of the things that I've been doing. I've been using the iron scimitars, which take a little bit of extra disassembly time, and actually makes it so that you get subtle components for tight springs. The next thing that I have been doing is Acadia logs. I know Acadia logs are already part of the guide. You use them to get the simple components, but they are absolutely insane. You can get simple parts, obviously, from this, and you can make divine charges, which are actually about 70k a piece right now. It takes about 50 to 55,000 to buy all of the energies. So you're making about 15,000 every single time that you make a divine charge. And I think it's like 50 simple parts or something like that. It's very, very minimal amount of simple parts. You are making a pretty significant profit off of that. And then on top of that, the living components, you can actually make mechanized chinchompas with these. Again, that's in my guide for how to disassemble Acadia logs. It's part of the other guide as well. I mentioned a couple of extra things that you can do right at the end. If you don't already fully understand it, go ahead and just check out the Wikipedia page. It tells you exactly what kind of components you need for the mechanized chinchompas. Basically, you just add on a couple of plate skirts or plate bodies or something along those lines, any melee armor, and then you'll have enough components to get mechanized chinchompas, which are really profitable. I'm surprised more people aren't actually making those. Another thing that I'm doing with the extra time is I have a lot of empty light orbs just sitting in my bank. I have 48,000. I think I actually got 4 or 5 million crafting experience from this back in the day when it was extremely expensive to train crafting, like 5-6 years ago, and I wanted to go for 99, and I didn't have much money, so I decided to spend a lot of time making empty light orbs. The reason why these are so good is they are another really cheap way of getting enhancing components. Obviously, you do have to make the light orbs, so it's not really efficient to make these just for the guide. That's why I haven't put a guide out yet on them. But if you have some empty light orbs sitting in your bank, it's extremely profitable. I actually did some math out, and I'm making 3 mil per hour whenever I start disassembling some empty light orbs. And then just getting all the other components with the Hydra pouches, the iron two-hand swords. I think I actually used steel in the calculation because steel two-hand sword was a little bit better GP per hour. But disassembling two-hand swords for the base parts, and then assuming that you already have tensile parts and flexible parts already just sitting in your pouch. Seeing as how I've been maxed out on those parts for a long time, I figured I'm going to have those parts for significant amount of time. You can make an extra 11 augmenters a day or something like that. It's absolutely insane, which is a really good amount of profit. I think I'm making about 200 to 250,000 GP for every augmenter, just because I am buying a decent amount of parts. But all in all, from the original guide, the not divine charges, the equipment siphons and the augmenters, I'm making about 5 mil per day. Obviously, half an hour of that is not from these, so I do have to put half an hour a day of effort into it. That can stockpile as long as I buy the enchanted gems as once a day. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes to buy the enchanted gems. I can just stockpile and make the rings of slaying whenever I feel like it. So half an hour of actual effort and an hour worth of these, so 2 auto disassemblers disassembling. That's about 5 mil per day, and then the other 2 I am disassembling empty light orbs and making augmenters with those. And these 2 right here, basically devoted to that, and I am making another 3 mil per day from that, because it's about an hour with the disassembling, and it's 3 mil per hour purely disassembling items. So right now, I am making 8 mil per day. 2.5 hours worth of effort, and 2 of the hours are completely automated with these machines. So very, very nice. If you multiply that out to per week, that's about 56 million GP per week. Per month, it's looking more in the over 200 million. It's very good profit. So if you have been kind of looking into machines, and I know a lot of the guides tell you to use the high capacity plank maker because obviously you don't have that half an hour of actually putting effort in. It's a lot easier to do the high capacity plank maker, but it's going to lose you a lot of money. You're going to be making about 3 mil per week instead of the 50 million per week that I'm making. Obviously, I do have to make all these parts, and probably another 5-10 minutes at the end of every single week to actually make the augmenters and the equipment siphons and anything else that I'm making, like the divine charges. But it's not too much actually extra effort for insane profit. So make sure you are looking into all of your options before just going into a guide and just letting them do whatever, or doing whatever the guide tells you to, because a lot of them are actually outdated now since all the prices have changed in the GE. If you guys all enjoy this or you want to see any extra content, I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button down below. Tell me what you like about it. Hit the thumbs up button. In the comments, tell me what kind of video you want to see next. As always though, have a good one.